Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, let me give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem HaKakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and others, great millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, pushing the word in truth and sincerity. All right, fighting, to be worthy of salvation. It says Romans 11:7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. That's why it's a beautiful thing if you can see this. All right, if you have this understanding, bro, because it was given to you. All right, but what you do with it, what you do with it is very important. All right, you can't sit on your hands. All right, you can't, play around with it. Take it as a light thing. You have to fear and take it seriously, and carry your cross, take on this responsibility, and which this responsibility is to teach. All right, make sure that you are producing in some type of way. It's Romans 11:8, according as it is written. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai have given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. And the main point here is that it's talking about Israel. All right, you have Israelite foreigners, you have Israelites that look like other nations, but they're still Israelites that are also going to be called, that are being called, and that are going to be chosen. But you have to be an Israelite, okay? You have to be an Israelite. And David said, let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. Right? And that's what these scriptures are for a lot of jakes, man. This is the table. The table is somewhere that you eat at, somewhere that you get sustenance, that you get energized. That's where you go, you sit at meat, It says, let their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their back always. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Now if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? For I speak to you Gentiles, inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify my office, if by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. Right? And the Gentiles that he's talking about are Israelites, okay, that have broken away from the traditions. All right, you have the entire northern kingdom, and then you have the southern kingdom, that have broken away from the traditions and took on the traditions of the heathen. Okay, those are the Gentiles that he's speaking of. All right, which is, when you read the New Testament, was an offense to, Judah, the southern kingdom, when Paul would bring, these Gentiles around, they considered them heathen, even though they were Israelites. They're saying that they were cast away, and what Paul is saying is that, it says what? It says, now if the fall of them be the riches of the world, that world is talking about Israel. All right, because basically what Yahushua did was open up the door for the Israelites that have fallen away to be brought back in. All right, and a lot of the circumcision didn't like that. Okay, they had a problem with that. Even to this day, which the funniest part is that in the scriptures it tells you that in this day and age there was a falling away, and now we're all being grafted back in, because the Spirit of the Lord had to come upon, certain key elect members to receive the truth and to teach it, and then it's become what it is today. But before then, all have fallen away. All of us grew up in this society, man. All of us assimilated to this society, and we had to be woke up out of it. All right, and you still got proud Israelites that will look down on Northern Kingdom or look down on some a brother that looks like another nation or anything of that nature, you know. But even themselves haven't fallen away and had to be brought back, and still acting like this, because there's nothing new under the sun. The same spirits, they come back. So you still have that going on to this day, even though there shouldn't be any pride in that matter. There really shouldn't. But like the scripture said, the elect have obtained it and the rest were blinded, Not everyone is able to receive that. So what does it say? Romans 11:14, if by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world, what shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead? For if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou being a wild olive tree wert grafted in among them, and with them partakest of the root and fatness of the olive tree, boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. See? Says, thou wilt say then the branches were broken off that I might be grafted in. Well, because of unbelief they were broken off, and thou standest by faith. Be not high-minded, but fear. For if God spare not the natural branches, take heed lest he also spare not thee. So basically this shows you, all right, that the Gentiles that he's talking about are Israelites, that they were a part of that root. Okay, they were branches of that tree that got broken off. Okay, the Lord, they got cast away, or they fell away, So what does it say? It says, for if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou being a wild olive tree, wert grafted in among them, and with them partakest of the root and fatness of the olive tree, right? Which that tree is Israel. So if some of the branches be broken off, it's still part of that same tree, gets grafted back into that tree. And that's what's happening. Like to this day, even now, is we're being, grafted in. All of us are, because at one point, all of us were in this world. We were part of this society. We were assimilated into this society. Unless, of course, you were somebody that was born into this, from a brother, had a son and was raised up in the way. Other than that, the majority of us that come into this truth, we came into it we were called out of the world to be a part of this, and like the scripture said, we are to fear and see, the thing too is that if you look like another nation, but you believe, you're called to repentance, and you cast off the old ways and you put on this new, this new covering, and you're out here teaching and breaking down the scriptures and truth and in sincerity, man. The Lord gave that to you. Okay? So you got to believe that you're an Israelite because the Lord gave that to you, gave you the eyes to see. He blinded the rest of the people. Man, you got idiots out here like the Sakari talking about that the writings of Paul are not authoritative. You know, totally blind. You know, those guys are blind. Those are dead. Those men are dead. They're dead in the spirit, man. They can't see. You know, they're deaf, dumb, and blind. They can't speak. You know, they can't see. They can't hear. They can't be told nothing. You know, they're dead. You know, this truth, you know, what the apostles and others of Great Millstone teach, it's the true doctrine. That's the, you know, this is the, you know, it sticks to the scriptures, you know. And if you find yourself, you know, believing on the truth, all right, and doing everything necessary, all right, to be diligent and to be found worthy, you know, then count yourself an Israelite, man. Might as well, you know, don't doubt it, because this is spiritual. The Lord said He's going to call His children, you know, through the Spirit, and this is the Spirit, you know, this is wisdom, understanding, knowledge, you know. Yahweh Shem Yahushai controls everything. He either gave you the eyes to see or He blinded you. So if you have the eyes to see, you got to believe that the Lord gave you those eyes to see. If you over here fearing, the Lord gave you that fear. If you over here, you know what I'm saying? Just know that you may look like something else, and you might have other men of Israel talk down on you, women of Israel talk down on you, look at you funny, all right? But you're an Israelite, man. And really, you know, all these different Israelite groups that are going off are going to be judged according to what they say. It says every idle word shall be brought into judgment. You know, so all this madness that they're talking about, all right, it's all going to come into judgment. You know, it says in the scriptures, at the end you shall speak and not lie. That's why it's important to identify what the truth is and to follow that. As it says in the scriptures, you hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, go walk ye in it. You know, you put in the effort and the work, you know, to study this and believe it for yourself, to see that there's no fault in the doctrine you see. Like, it's sewn up, man. You know, it's laced up to the point where, you know what I mean, there's no cracks, there's no chinks in the armor, you know. Whereas you look at these other groups, there's cracks in the armor. There's places that don't fit, man. You know, that's why you got to lean upon the scriptures, you know, and have men of understanding that can teach you the right way, which, you know, I believe are the apostles and those of Great Millstone, you know, and the other like-minded brothers that are doing this work in truth and in sincerity. You know, the Lord has to open your eyes to it so that you can see. The Lord is the one that sets you up, you know. So with that, hopefully it's edifying. Give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, by Shem Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and others of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect. And also, none of the heathen can be saved. None of them. All right, shalom.